Oh, yeah. Okay, so here's why I bought this motorcycle. I see this out on Marketplace. The guy's charging $300 for it. He says it's a Honda Hurricane, blah, 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 but it runs. I'm like, that's really, really cool, but I don't have that money saved up at the moment, and it's in Yakima, which is about a 4-hour drive. So I was just kind of gonna pass it for now. I can probably find better motors. And then he bumps it down to $200, and I'm like, I can afford that. And my dad really likes Honda. In order for me to get something, it kind of has to fit through my dad's parameters and my brother's parameters. And so it all seemed right to him. So I'm like, okay, this might work. And so we asked our uncle, and he said that he could come, and he's a mechanic. So we drive down there. We go to the house, and we start knocking on the door, and there's no answer. So we're sitting in the parking lot we're sitting in the driveway for like 30 minutes. And my dad just keeps knocking, and then finally he messaged me and says, sorry, I just got up, I'm coming right out. And so he came out. We hooked up a battery to it because he said it needed a new battery, so we just took one to jump it with. And it has a bypass right here. So if you look, okay, so this is the ignition solenoid bypass. Look, it's just like some metal conduit, and then if you touch it to this thing, it'll turn over. So we did all that, and it cranked over, but it didn't start up. And he said that it started up. He said it needed a new fuel pump, so we took startup fluid with us, sprayed it in there, and it still didn't start up. And so we were thinking, maybe let's just check if it has spark. If it doesn't, then we might have some bigger problems. So we checked it, and sure enough, it didn't have any spark. And so I was about ready to walk away from it, honestly. I know it's not much at all, but still, I make zippo zilch nada. And so it's kind of important whenever I spend any kind of money, I have to make sure it's a wise choice. And so I was about to walk away from it, and then my uncle asked, how much are you asking for it? And he said, I'll give it to you for $100. And I'm like, okay. So I gave him $100, and my thought process was, if it ends up not being okay, I could easily part it out for a lot more than that. This has some aftermarket exhaust on it that's probably worth $500 easy. So I can part it out and make more money. That's why I think it was a wise choice. And that's why I thought I really couldn't go wrong with it. So now all we're missing is the reverse box. And then that's like the last piece of the puzzle. And then there's like the random wiring and stuff. But that's like the last major mechanical part that I can think of. So today, Grindhard had a new video. And I comment on every video that says, like, day 7 of asking Grindhard to do their version of Mini Mayhem. So Cars and Cameras does something called Mini Mayhem, where they invite, like, all of their fans to an ATV park. And Edwin replied to me and said, where should we do it? So when he responded, I'm like, I better get working on Sebby, because I want something to ride. Sebby, say hi to your new heart. He has donated a heart. A very big one, I might add. No spark. So that could be a lot of things. First, I'm going to go over the coils. All right, I gave it 3 new fuses and plugged in a few wires. Let's see if anything different happens. Don't think it's a no-go. Maybe... Yeah, probably not. Hold on, I want to see that oil pump moving. Yeah. Alright. Well. Alright. Yeah, and look, everything is working. So, like, if I turn this turn signal, then signal starts clicking. There's nothing connected to it, but it's working on there. And if I turn it there, come on. Oh, light signal doesn't work. Right signal. Then, I mean, everything works! Except the engine. Oh, alright, I want to show my siblings what it sounds like.
Are you ready to rumble?
It's not loud. No, it's not loud. Ready for a little sparky? It fired. It freaking fired. It fired!
What's that
Alright,
mean?
this has to be a safety problem.
Like it backfired?
No, it sparked. The spark plugs did. I think it's a safety problem. My gut's just saying that it's not something wrong with the coils.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, that's really weird. Oh, thanks for showing us.
Yeah,
Yep.
thanks. Yeah, cool.
Do you want me,
I don't know what this
do you want me to stop the recordings?
Yeah. Parts came. This is the cover for the oil pump. We couldn't find it anywhere, and I was wondering why we couldn't find it. And then I realized, oh yeah, this is the thing that hits the ground when you lay it down. I know that had to be the situation with this bike. So this one probably got laid down, and this part just got scraped up. Oh, it's beautiful. I don't think it's billet. Yeah, it's cast, but still, that's awesome. And then all the nuts and bolts. It's a lot of nuts and bolts.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Oh, I got this. You
Let off that when I said
Yeah, ready?
it started.
I know. Ready?
Yeah, go. Everything sounds good. Alright, so we kind of reached a stopping point. This box right here started smoking a ton. So, this is the connector it was on. Now, the person that we bought it from had this jump on here. This is just a paper clip. And so we were wondering what this was, so we look up on the diagram, and this is supposed to be the regulator rectifier. This is not stock, and it's not an improvement either. This isn't even a rectifier. We looked up the part numbers right here, and it comes off of a Honda, a Honda dirt bike that I don't think was sold stateside. I think it was only Japanese. This is a fuel pump computer for a Honda dirt bike. I don't even know how that can take the place of a regulator rectifier. This might not even be the rectifier. We don't really know. So our next step is going to be taking all of the stuff, all the wires off that we don't need. So like the lights, the brake lights, and the horn, and a lot of other things. I just need like everything to run the engine and to charge the battery, which includes the regulator rectifier. So it's kind of confusing, really. We think, my uncle thought that this might be the rectifier. I don't think it is, but we just kind of got to figure that out. So, yeah, I am so excited about this thing. It comes with 130 horsepower crank, and it's got about 43,000 miles on it, so it's probably only about 100 right now. It's 113 to the wheel, so it's probably only about 100 horsepower now, but that's going to be justified. So, since that clip, we've learned that this, I thought this was in the place of the regulator. Turns out it isn't. This is actually supposed to be here. This controls the pulse pump that's on the bottom of the gas tank. So this thing has been burnt up, and I think I know why. We didn't have the right fuses. When I got it, it was missing like 2 fuses, so I put some in, but they were bigger than what it called for, and so I'm pretty sure this got too much power sent into it, and that's why it was smoking so much. So I'm pretty sure this thing is toast. We are going to need another one. Now, when Dad and I came out here to try to start it yesterday, there was no spark, so we're kind of back at square one. We had spark for like a split second. We just put some of these wires back together that had been pulled apart, and there was a spark for a second, and then we didn't see it anymore. So we're thinking it might have to do something with the timing pulse thing. We're not quite sure though, so we're just going to do some testing and see what isn't getting power.
All right.
Ready?
I think so. Go ahead.
Okay, so we still don't quite know what the problem is. Some of these connectors look trashed. Like this one right here. This goes to the focus, please. This goes to the starter solenoid, and this whole system is just trashed. The owner before me used this kind of like brake line conduit, and then you just press it right there, and then that jumps it across here, and that starts it up. So I think I'm just going to order a whole new system for that. I don't know if that's going to fix it, but it's definitely going to improve it. So it's going to rule out one of the things that it might be. It's super confusing. It was running like a month ago, and then something broke, and it's not running anymore. But the thing is, we already know that it runs. It runs on all four. We didn't hear any valve tick. Everything sounds fine. It's just an electrical problem, which we can fix. My dad is a nurse practitioner, but he's really good at electrical stuff, and I'm not, and I need to learn it. So, thank you for watching. I really, really want to get this thing done before Grind Hard has their event, their fan meetup. The only thing I have to go on is that they said they're doing it in the spring. So, I'm assuming that's like probably April, June, something like that around here. That's about spring. So, I'm working my arse off to try to finish this. Yeah. I need help finding a reverse gearbox. I cannot find anything anywhere. I found one that was really, really cool. It had, like, the input shaft and the output shaft was on the same side. It was going to work perfectly. It matched my exact specifications. But it only came with, like, 5 of the parts, and there are, like, 50 parts in the whole thing. And they expect you to make all of them. You need, like, a lathe, a spline maker, all of those things, which I don't even have a lathe. So please help me find a reverse gearbox because I'm desperate. I don't want to have to push this thing out of a sticky situation because it's pretty heavy. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.